Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic: Australian bushfire crisis. As an Australian, I want to thank the international community for acknowledging the extent of this crisis and their ongoing support. I'm not directly affected by the fires, but it's amazing to see complete strangers across the world donate to our charities and send firefighters to help us and the animals during this time. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Edit, thank you for all the comments and support. I agree, our government should be doing more and it's a shame that we have to resort to asking for help. I hope our government is held accountable. As others have said, many other countries are faced with devastating floods or other disasters due to climate change. Please, let's make an effort to be better and challenge those in power to do better. Climate change is real, we have one planet. Let's take care of it. Random lady in the US, our family donated 50 odd to wildlife causes through https://www.wires.org.au. We have a whole middle school fundraising in teams called Wallaby, Wombat and Kookaburra. None of the kids we know who are doing this have ever been to Australia, but they care a lot. I think at last count there have been over 1 billion native animals lost in the fires. I am an Aboriginal man and can say that the soul of my land is crying at the devastation. So many living things have been called back home to the Dreamtime place. Thank you all for your help. There are Dutch children going door to door collecting plastic bottles to raise money. These kids do it specifically for the koalas. As a Californian, I thought our wildfires are bad, but this is nothing compared to Australia. It's the most apocalyptic thing I seen. Saw a pic and it straight up looked like Armageddon with the amount of red in the picture. It's crazy that even New Zealand have red skies. The distance between Australia and New Zealand is like the distance between California and Kansas. Remember, the firefighters that are fighting the bushfires aren't full-time firefighters. They have jobs like accountants, IT, etc. and do this as volunteers. They use up their annual leave to fight the fires, or if they have an understanding boss, leave without pay. I tip my hat to anyone that does this. I work in payroll and I had an employee apply for annual leave for the last 4 days as they were out fighting fires. I consulted all my higher-ups, requesting that we deny the leave and pay him his ordinary hours without sacrificing any leave he has accrued. They didn't even hesitate in agreeing with me. I only hope that other companies are able to do this. The statement NAB released that they'll provide unlimited paid leave to their volunteer firefighters made me so happy. They deserve so much for all they've done. Obligatory platinum/gold. Edit, I thank you for these awards, but I don't deserve them. I'm purely doing what I believe is right. I'd much rather the money be spent on donating to these volunteers and to the people and animals who need our help. In addition to ARP's links, I know the CFA1 has 4 options. One is a fund for the volunteers. Donations for Wildlife Victoria can be found here. I hope this is a stupid question or ignorant, but how did these start? Do we know? Extremely hot weather plus government doing a shitty job cleaning up debris plus possible arson equals huge bushfire crisis. Alright, so this is my area and I'm going to get really pedantic, but there is a major difference between arson and what the majority of people in Australia have been cited for. Arson is the willful burning of items in which they have the knowledge and intent of causing destruction, and that can threaten homes /lives /vehicles /first responders /whatever. What the majority of people in Australia have been hit with is more or less negligent burning. This is things such as lighting a campfire and leaving it unattended, burning brush in your backyard and leaving it when a burn ban is in effect, and sometimes even smoking. Intentionally set fires / arson. Arson requires malicious intent. A lot of these people are just idiots. Source: whole lot of fire investigations. And on top of that, many of these arson charges may go unpunished. Arson is a notoriously hard crime to prove and get convictions for because of the nature of the crime. It literally destroys the evidence of it happening. So the people that have been arrested may never be face punishment. Edit, a lot of these people who negligently burn still get arrested for being idiots. But it's not arson. Edit 2, where climate change comes into this is the droughts are longer and more intense, allowing for the fires to spread faster, farther, and become more difficult to get under control as the fuel load is greatly increased. Many have suggested that the widespread reports of arson are a disinformation campaign to deny climate change. I can't speak with knowledge to that, but if it were true it would probably be because of the insinuation that arson equals bigger fires because arsonists can set multiple places. So many colliding factors. 1. Severe drought which has dried out even damp rainforest environments. There was literally piles of kindling everywhere, so climate change. Then, intense weather conditions with extreme heat and wind which prevented normal hazard reduction burning earlier in the year and created perfect fire conditions this summer. Then, fires started either naturally or intentionally or accidentally which cannot be contained because of the previous two things. Then, poor government policy and funding means that there was not a national management strategy in place and enough helicopters /resources amassed to manage the crisis. Then, 5. Large fires generate their own weather systems, which cause dry lightning, which causes more fires. I live in the Blue Mountains, which is west of Sydney. The Blue Mountains, if you didn't know, is part of the Great Dividing Range and thus a national park. We are quite literally surrounded by fires from the north to the south. At any moment the wind could change and could wipe out potentially 100s of homes, mine included. We have never seen anything this big before. Fires are normal for us, but this scale of fires is absolutely insane. However, I want to thank the rest of the world got their generosity at this times. It is truly heartwarming to see so many people give support from all corners of the globe. Peace be with you, and I hope the rain heads our way. That's terrible. I traveled to Sydney from the US a couple years ago and visited the Blue Mountains while I was there. It was just such a beautiful area with gorgeous scenery. I wish you well and hopefully the fires will subside soon. It's truly a beautiful place. Thank you for your well wishes. The amazing thing about our bushland is that the fires are actually good for them, just not so much for us humans. Thanks again. Edit. I have been informed these fires are too hot and too excessive and thus some areas will not recover. Very sad indeed. Remember, this shit is the fault of the liberals and the nationals who fucking refuse to make any fucking move towards climate action. Labour Party is just as on the hook for being spineless bastards who still suck the teat of coal, oil and gas companies. We need direct action, protest, and more political activity. Because the Greens, the damn Greens, are the only ones who are doing shit about the climate. Fuck Scott Morrison, fuck the libs, fuck the Nats, and fuck every conspiracy theorizing bastard who muddies the waters of this shit. People have died and y'all want your fucking coal money. Get fucked. Just for those who are new to US politics, liberals are the Australian Republicans / conservatives. Is everything in Australia the opposite? Seasons, political parties, the direction water drains. I wonder how many American liberals voted this out of habit lol. As an Australian, the scariest part of these fires is when it's so hot and out of control, it creates its own weather system including fire tornadoes, huge fire blasts and lightning strikes. We have bushfires every year that we have been evacuated for, but never like this. So much of our wildlife and heritage listed bush is destroyed. My family leaves water out and we are constantly finding animals like echidnas and possums drinking from it. The moment we all knew it was bad was when 4,000 people were stranded on a tiny beach while these fires so quickly took over the towns, and the only way to escape was into the ocean. The international support has been insane, and from the bottom of my heart thank you. There is a lot going on in the world and it's nice to know people can come together in times like these for complete strangers. Smelling the smoke every day, and knowing people out fighting fires has made me pretty aware of what's going on. Seeing photos of kids in boats while the sky was red, that drove it home. Absolutely devastating. I'm working in a town that was evacuated, but we didn't lose a single building. The surrounding towns were hit hard, and we lost power and phone reception for a week. The whole experience was terrifying as we grappled with the predictions for the 4th of January, which if they were right, would have flattened the town. There's going to be a lot of trauma to sift through just based on those experiences alone. But the major threat to the town is the economic implications. Every business here was gearing up for our tourist season, and had stock ready for our biggest week of the year, New Year's. The butcher immediately had to offload a crazy amount of stock just to keep the town fed while we were cut off. Our local pub lost so much in food and revenue, and the story is the same for every restaurant and small business here. These businesses rely on the tourist season to make enough profit to survive winter, and that's just not going to happen this year. Remember what your contributions mean to the local economy. Will donating food mean that people will be spending less at the local shops? There are definitely going to be locations that need your support that way, but those will be evacuation centers. In the coming months, the people here will be looking at how to rebuild long term and how they are going to survive winter. If you get the chance this year, regardless of season, please visit Bemagi, NSW and the surrounding towns. Come and buy some innocuous crap at the souvenir shops. Buy a stupid amount of meat from the butcher. Eat at the many amazing options we've got. Every town in southeastern NSW is going to be in the same position. Being forced to evacuate all the tourists has put all of these towns on the chopping block. The residents being evacuated sucked as well, but doesn't have the same far-reaching implications. Everyone in this town stood up to protect each other. The businesses in town immediately knew the implications of this but they didn't even blink before giving everything they had. I know for a fact that the butcher could have kept the majority of their stock cool using generators and a refrigerated truck, but instead immediately began supplying the town with food to cook on barbecues. While everyone was packed into the town center, the pub and club refused to serve alcohol to not inflame the situation any further. These people could have profited off this event. They could have at least come out of this in a better financial position than they are now. Instead, they did as much as they could, as fast as they could. Please support Southeast New South Wales in the coming years. Bring your families and inject money into our economy directly. Be amazing. Well said. Kangaroo Island off South Australia is facing the same problem. KI is one of the biggest tourism draws for SA and more than half of the island has burnt down and the fires haven't stopped yet. The loss of tourism is going to be such a huge impact to the island and to South Australia. People are cancelling trips 4 months away because there's going to be so much less to see with all the national parks gone. I can't imagine what they're going through. Bemagi itself has remained untouched and seems to be out of danger now, but the residents of Cobargo just up the road have lost so much. If you're on KI, stay safe. There are things that can be rebuilt over years, but lives lost are irreplaceable. I'm going to have to keep a list of places to visit once all this is over.